right now. You're listening to the Scary Vibes podcast. My name is Michael, aka Mr. Scary Vibes.
And my name is Abe, aka Bigg Paranormal. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. Season 2, episode 14. And we got a special guest today. We got Nikki with us. Welcome to the episode.
Hi.
And yeah, so I just found out like 5 minutes ago, Nikki is empathic just like Abraham. So we're going to get into all of her creepy experiences. Abraham has a story about some missing hikers. And then I don't know if my job is got poltergeist or not, but we're going to get into that later on. But I feel rude. Nikki, you're the special guest. I want to introduce you to everybody. How have you been?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I'm curious, how did you get into horror? How are you here right now?
So I've definitely always been into like anything kind of weird since I was a kid. I was probably like extremely young, and my favorite movies, I would go to Blockbuster every weekend. My favorite movies were Labyrinth and The Craft. So at a very young age, I knew I was going to be what I was, right? Like I think it started really young, and it's just kind of always been that way.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, it could be because I'm just a fatty, but I'm curious. What snacks were you getting when you were hitting up Blockbuster?
Oh my gosh, I don't even remember. I don't even know what I was eating. I think I was just so focused on like I loved anything weird and eerie and witchy. And then I would watch creepy movies and I wouldn't get scared.
nice.
I would find them to be comforting. But I don't remember what I was eating.
You know what? I think I'm just more excited the fact that we have somebody here that actually remembers Blockbuster.
Yeah,
Man, like I remember that was my
days.
they really were.
Blockbuster and having to wait every week to find your like to see your favorite show or anything like
Mhm.
before, we had commercials. Like I it's so different now.
Yeah.
And you would always have
I
you.
remember. I'm sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to cut you off. But no, I was just saying like I used to get so excited, man. Just like Friday
Oh
was
yeah.
coming up and I knew that was going to be my destination. I was going to order a pizza. I was going to go over to Blockbuster, pick out some like creepy movies, crazy movies, maybe even get that like $5 movie deal, that
Yeah.
kind of. Oh man, I remember just such great memories.
That was the best.
It was
Like I would
awesome.
watch the movie over and over again too. Like I feel like because you have that movie for the weekend or whatever
Mhm.
couple of days, and I would just watch it on repeat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then you better not return it unrewound if you were renting that
Oh my
VHS
gosh, that
tape,
was the
man. But then for later people, obviously
VHS.
DVDs. So you got the VHS, then you got the DVDs, the
Yeah.
Blu-rays, and everything, man. But I miss it so much. I feel like that type of culture is sorely needed in this day and age, honestly,
Agree.
because it was just a great way to just unwind and to connect with your favorite people. You know.
Mm, I
Exactly.
agree.
As much as I love VHS is nostalgic to all three of us. I could tell those early DVD days. I used to love them because all the special features. They used to be so good. I always have to talk about it.
Oh yeah.
Blair Witch Project 2,
Oh, I
the
remember the
special
first
features.
one.
The special
Bro,
features.
you
There
love
was
that
like
movie.
you would be able to you'd be able to go through like the special features, and there'd be like all these like they would show you all these Easter eggs and like what the owl meant and stuff like that. But I miss those early DVD days where they just had special features, commentary. Nowadays, it's like, oh, you could buy it online, but it doesn't come with any of the extras. What's the point of even buying it, right?
Everything's just streaming.
Absolutely, man. I feel like I'm a nerd, right? So like I love being able to see like listen to the commentary. I love to hear like the things that happen behind the scenes, especially when you're watching like a horror movie. If you could like hear any creepy things that happened in the background like while they were actually making the movie, I love that kind of stuff. But I'm also a geek when it comes to like the special effects, the practical effects. I want to see how they were able to achieve certain things. Man, like you said, Mike, like that's the commentary, all that stuff, the special features that were in those DVDs, man. Oh man, bring it all back.
I
I
know.
need a time machine, man. Need a time machine.
I know. I miss those times.
Mm-hmm.
So Nikki told us that she has a lot of hunted experiences and all that stuff, but we're gonna get into that later. Abraham, how have you been lately?
Oh man, it's so funny because you ask me this every time, and I wish that I could like say something like really crazy or like unique that happened, but so far it's been same old, same old. We've had some weird energetic shifts that have been going on. You know, we're recording this right now on April 26th. I mean, it's not going to release for a couple days, but May 1st is coming up. The full moon is coming up. And I'm sure that, Nikki will agree with me that as you're nearing the full moon, there's just like crazy energy that just starts happening. You're at the level at which you experience things starts to increase as you get closer to the full moon. And I mean, it's kind of a tumultuous time during, it's rough to be around lots of people and whatnot. Like most recently, me and Mr. Scary Vibes, we went to have hot pot, right? We went to
I
go eat
I
some.
popped your cherry. I popped his cherry finally. I've been begging this guy for years to come to Hot Pot.
Really?
It's so good. It's so good. Have you ever had it before, Nikki?
No, I've heard of it, but I've never had it.
It's so
So
good.
it is good. It is good. But like my thing is that I just don't think it makes any sense to go to a restaurant where you have to cook the food.
Okay,
You know,
I feel like
like
that's fair.
that's just so weird to me.
It's
Yeah.
an
But yeah, we
experience.
it was cool. It was actually a really cool experience. Had really great food, man. It wasn't overly priced. It was awesome. It was just a great experience. But I had a not so great experience there. Literally, like when we were walking over to the area to start grabbing all the little ingredients and stuff, like, they have all types of different like protein and stuff that you can put into this broth. And so we got up, and as I made my way over to that area, man, I just got hit with some really nasty energy from somebody.
Really?
Yeah, that was in there, and it nearly took me out. Like I literally almost like
In
passed out.
there.
Yeah, I almost passed out, and I had to tell Mr. Scary Vibes, man. I had to tell him, hey man, I just got hit with some nasty, nasty energy right now.
It ain't good.
I told him, I said it's bad. Like just give me a second. Let me kind of get my bearings about me. Had to take a few deep breaths, and luckily it didn't affect me too much. But that's the kind of the risk that you run into when you're empathic and you go out into these public places. If you don't shield yourself enough, right? Or I mean, sometimes it doesn't even matter, right?
Agreed.
Sometimes it doesn't even matter. You can shield yourself until you're blue in the face. You can do all the
You're getting
things.
attacked. Yeah.
Right. You can get attacked. Or if there's somebody who's just got really, really bad energy, man, it's just going to hit you like a wave. And sometimes you just got to wait until it passes. Fortunately, it
And then
wasn't.
it's crazy because once it passes and they're out of your energy field and you start feeling normal again, you're like, okay, confirmation.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you sit there, and it's funny because there is kind of a level of frustration where you're just like, what the hell was that? Why? Why? It's
Yep.
just like, God. But I
Or
mean,
some
luckily, it passed through and it didn't ruin the experience, you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, it was okay. Once I got some hot pot in me, I was good to go.
Good to go.
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm glad it didn't tamper our whole entire dinner and you were able to enjoy it and hopefully we could do it again.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited for that.
Nikki, you got
Really.
to try hot pot. It's good, but you got to make sure
But it's the list.
you got to have somebody that goes to teach you the ropes cuz
Okay.
I had to teach Abraham the ropes. I had to teach him about the sauces and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to
Yeah.
make your own. You have to make your own sauce. You can't just walk in there empty. Like you got to have a guide.
Okay. I feel like that's fair.
He was my Sherpa. He was my Sherpa up the mountain of hot pot. He just kind of showed me the ropes, man. It was cool. It was a great experience.
It's like knowing me, I'll just go in there, no idea. I'll just start asking random people, like, hey, can you help me? I have
You
no
know what?
shame.
I can appreciate that type of energy, man, because I'm
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. I'm not
Really?
that guy. I would just sit there kind of quietly and just try to figure it out myself rather than like ask somebody because I'm so afraid they're gonna judge me. Like I wouldn't,
Really?
man. Yeah, I'm a big dude. And the funny thing is, like, so I worked in the security field for so long. I was a bouncer and bodyguard and all that stuff. Confrontation like that is easy for me, but like the actual social interaction part, like don't ever ask me to pick up a phone and order a pizza. Like it's just so
actually do that for all my friends. It's funny, actually, my one friend and I, when we go out to eat, I literally order for us, and she like calls me her boyfriend because like we just look at us. I'd be like, she's gonna have this, and I'm gonna have this, and I just do that. Like I feel like that's me for everything, and I'm so awkward. The best part is I am so awkward, right? I'll make a phone call and I
Hmm.
sound ridiculous because I'm
Hmm.
awkward, but I own it.
That's
I
so
don't
awesome.
get embarrassed. Like
See?
I'm so weird. I'm so awkward, but I don't get embarrassed.
That is so awesome. I swear, I need some
Sure.
of that. I need some of that confidence in my life.
Okay. So, first off, my room. It's usually dark. It's not dark because the cat tore it down. Okay, so I
Hmm.
apologize to all our watchers. You have to see me in daylight, and I look old. So, like I was
Different from
teasing
the
it.
whole creature of the night thing, bro.
This is my vampire room.
I love it, man. I love the aesthetic. It's awesome. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
But so, like I was teasing earlier in the episode, I don't know if my job, if there's a poltergeist there, guys. Okay.
Okay.
So I was able to talk with, AI to kind of give us an idea of like how do you know if you're dealing with a poltergeist and if you're not dealing with a poltergeist. So there's four signs. There's four signs, okay? Definite signs. Okay, objects physically moving, being thrown around,
Yeah.
like books, whatever, anything can be thrown around, okay?
Hmm.
Loud unexplained noises, electrical disturbances, and physical attacks. So
Yeah.
So let me tell
Yikes.
you what's going on at my job, okay? This okay, I work in an auto part store, okay? A giant one.
Hmm.
And in the past, I've heard noises, loud booms. You don't know what's going on, okay? But I mean, I feel like that could be any job, right? Everybody's heard like a loud noise. You don't know what it is. It could have been a shelf or whatever. Okay. Sometimes you see things moving down the aisles in the corner of your eye. Okay, maybe it's something playing tricks on you. Okay, but this is the caveat. Okay, this is the strange stuff that made me want to talk about this with you guys. I've been finding. Okay, so they redid the tiles like a year ago. Underneath the tiles is nothing but concrete. It's a slab of concrete.
Hmm.
There's been these like slime that's just been popping up throughout the store, and it's like this thick yellowish slime. So obviously, I start chatting it up with AI again, and
Hmm.
it's like some paranormal investigators claim that poltergeists leave behind a thick, gooey substance as they try to manifest physically, especially when they're weak or just trying to build strength.
Mm.
Was it ectoplasm? I think it's called, is like the kind of goo that they leave behind as they pass through like a specific area. You know what I'm saying? So if it's building up some, trying to build up energy to be able to communicate with you, man, I would look into not just like the history of the store itself, but I mean, I would look into what was there before the store. What was it that
Yeah.
occupied that land before that they actually erected the structure and everything like that?
To try to figure out what you're dealing
So
with.
yeah, so what kinds of things were you experiencing? Like, I mean, did anything physically happen to you? Was it like maybe any feelings that you had, anything like that?
No, no feelings. I mean, sometimes you
Okay.
get those eerie feelings when you hear something or in the corner of your eye,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
but those are things that you could kind of say, I wasn't back there, or maybe, there's a giant rat running by. He's 6 feet tall. But those things, you could kind of think about and write off. But
Hmm.
finding this slime, now it's twice in two different spots. It
Dude,
got me
that's
thinking. So
What does it look like? Like what kind of color is it?
it's like milky-ish yellow and thick and soupy. It doesn't smell. I
And
should,
it's just
uh-huh.
appearing.
yeah. Two different spots, twice so far. So I don't know what's going on. I mean, it could be, but for sure underneath the tile, there's no water. It's a slab of concrete. So I'm curious. When I say poltergeist, do you guys have any like movies you think of or any like personal experiences where maybe you dealt with a poltergeist since you guys are both empathic?
So I don't know if Nikki, if you want to take this one first.
So my biggest thing, I don't usually actually use the word poltergeist. For me, I usually say like dark entities. And although I am very dark, right, and I do have like dark deities that I work with, there's a difference between that and a dark entity. So I find I have never experienced like slime or anything like that, but a dark entity, that is no, you don't want that. And like, I personally feel like if you sense there's something like that, you want to do everything you can to try to get it out of that space, or at the very least shield yourself from whatever it could be doing, because my biggest thing with attachments is you might not realize it's there, but it will wreak havoc on your life. Whether that be you start getting bad luck, bad things start happening to you, you start feeling bad, depressed, whatever like that. So like you do want to, if you sense there's something like that, you do want to be doing measures to try to protect yourself from it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Absolutely.
like Abraham would probably agree with me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like you were saying, it can bring about a lot of bad things that happen in your life.
Yeah.
Not just in dealing with like yourself spiritually, but physically, you can start to feel ill. You can start,
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
developing really like crazy, like bad health issues. And then you'll go to
Wreak
the
havoc.
doctors, and the doctors will start, they'll question everything, and then they'll put you on a whole bunch of medications, but just because they can't figure out what's going on and whatever. But as far as, obviously everybody knows the poltergeist movies, those are classic, man. I can watch those all the time. Tangina, she was a gangster little woman, man. She knew her shit. She could like, she'd get those bad spirits out, But I do remember there was one specific incident that I had when I was younger. I think it was about like 14 or 15 years old. This is when I had lived in Michigan. So it was a summer day, man. And I remember I was in the kitchen and I was washing dishes, and my brother was like drying the dishes, rinsing them, drying them. And so he was standing next to me in the kitchen, and we had this pantry, like this door. It was a walk-in pantry that was just adjacent to us. And our dog at the time, I saw that she was going inside of the pantry. And so I was like, I told her name was Penny. I was like, Penny, get out of there. You don't need to be in there. And so she goes in. I'm like calling her again, Penny. And I could see that she was like kind of looking up at something. And so I'm telling her, get out, get out. I thought she was going to try to get my Twinkies or something that's, stored away in there. And so my brother just tells me, he's like, man, just leave her alone. She's not doing anything. I'm like, all right, fine. So we go back to washing the dishes. Next thing I know, Penny comes running, just sprinting out like she was being chased by something. And so, of course, it kind of startled us. I was like, what the hell? So I look at my brother, and he's like, I don't know, kind of shrugged his shoulders. Bro, so as soon as I go to like start washing the dishes again, our garbage can gets launched out of the pantry and flies into the dining room.
You've
And
seen
What?
we
this.
just, dude, we were just kind of frozen. And
Oh my God.
I'm like, oh, dude, what the hell was that? So my brother just like pushes me. He's like, go see what it is. So I'm like, what the hell, man? That's like the price of being a bigger guy, right? It's like if you're ever in a weird situation like that, people are like, you go deal with it. So I was like, great, thanks. So I kind of just like inched my way over, and I kind of look inside the pantry, and then I walk in the pantry. Obviously, there was nothing out of the ordinary. There was nobody in there. But I did notice that when I went into the pantry, there was this like cold spot inside of the pantry that was undeniable, man. I mean, it was a hot
Yeah.
summer day. We didn't have the AC on or anything like that. It was weird. It was really, really, really odd. And then we go over by the dog, and she was just like in a corner somewhere, just like kind of shaking. So it was just a really weird experience. But I did tell you guys, Mike, that I've had a lot of really crazy experiences in that house itself. There was a lot of activity with the technology. The TV was turning on and off, the channels were changing. We had a stereo system set up because it was old school back in the day. We had a big stereo system with the big speakers, and the radio would turn on by itself. It would turn on and off all
How
the
many
time.
CDs did you have in your player?
Bro, this was the legit one, dude. This thing had like 12. It was like a 12 disc CD changer, bro. That's how we did it back then. Know what I'm saying?
That's fancy.
It was super fancy. But like we had experiences with our phone too, because we had a landline, right? So old school phone was hanging up on the wall, and it would ring. Like sometimes it would ring throughout the night, and you'd go and you'd pick it up, and there'd be nobody there. There was nothing on the caller ID. Back in the day, you used to have this like separate piece of technology that would tell you the person that was calling. And so like we were having so many problems with that we ended up unplugging the phone, and we would still get calls. It would still ring, which was really, really crazy.
Would there be somebody on the other line?
Mm-mm. I mean, you could hear things going on the other line, like just kind of like static. It was just like weird static that would just kind of break the silence and whatever. But you would never hear like a voice or anything like that, you know. But yeah, those were my experiences, man. What about you, man? Besides the the activity that you've got going on in the store, have you had any other like poltergeist like activity?
I do remember one time when I was a kid, my mom, she used to collect baskets and she used to hang them on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think if like, somebody was running too fast up the stairs, a car drove by too fast, the basket would fall straight off. But there was a time we were just sitting there in the kitchen and the basket like flew across the room. That was the only time, but it didn't at the time. It was the 90s. We were just like, "Whoa, what the hell?" Like no one was
Mm-hmm.
thinking like this shit's evil. Nobody had any type of weird feeling about it. It was just one of
Mm-hmm.
those things that was like, that's unexplainable. That doesn't seem right, but okay. Well, let's just
Okay.
continue dinner. But I mean, off the top of my head, that was like one of the experiences that I could remember like right now. But back to okay, so you were saying to check out the land, right? To see
Mm-hmm.
how what was there. But I've worked for the same company for the last 16 years and I've been at this location for 10 years. I've never really had any issues till recently. So do you think
Okay.
this would be like an object, or do you think maybe a spirit was passing by and thought this was like a nice place to just call home? Like, what do you guys think?
I feel like there's different possibilities there. It could be somebody brought something in. That's a possibility. Somebody has something latched onto them and it's now entering your space. If it's not always been there, it either is that, or if no one else is experiencing it, I don't know if it's only you, you could be now opening up to seeing something that's there. You know what I'm saying? You're
It's you.
shaking your
You're
head. No, what does that mean?
you're haunted, bro.
Like you just might be now becoming more in tune with things
Well, there's been
that
little
maybe you
things.
know.
Well, there's been like since we started the pod and since like me and Abraham, we've known each other for like 15, 16 years.
Oh
But
wow.
since we started the podcast and over the last couple years, I mean, we've always been close. He's actually the godfather to my daughter. But I mean, since we
That's
started doing
awesome.
the since we started doing the podcast, I mean, we talk almost every single day, every other day. But in some of our earlier episodes, there's been things like my mirror shaking in my bedroom, or I don't know if you've ever had cats. You know the sound of a cat just jumping off of like its perch to the ground. You know that
Mm.
thud, like there was a night I just randomly heard that ghost cat. I think I might have a ghost cat inside my house. I don't know.
Wait, can I make a little insert about cats? Because I mean, I've always had like whatever for some reason, dark stuff is the easiest thing to come to me and the easiest thing for me to see. For
Mm.
2 nights in a row, my cat in the morning, she's outside of my room. The level of clawing at my door in the morning. I'm talking like I'd wake up because I felt like she was going to beat the door down. No doubt in my mind, there was something going on and she was reacting to it. Like
Mm.
she was like scratching at it, clawing at it, and she doesn't do that.
I'm telling you, like when it comes to anything paranormal or spiritual, you really have to go off of like what if you have any pets or animals, dude.
They'll tell you.
They'll let you know ahead of time, man. I can't tell you how many times I've had my dog here. She'll just be staring at like an open chair. She'll sit in front of this chair, she'll stare at it,
Like, what are you
or she'll
saying?
right, and she'll look over at a doorway, and it just like seeing her. It's so weird because like I've noticed that she'll come and she'll sit in front of me, but then she'll like stare behind me, you know, and immediately I'm like, what's going on? And then I get hit with like this really just intense energy, and I'm like, okay, so she's seeing something that I can't physically see, but now I can sense it, I can feel it. Oh man, there's times where she does that, and I'll immediately like my guard will go up
I'll
because
start yelling. I'm like,
will
get
you?
out!
I don't need
You're
any
not
of this
welcome
right
here. Get
now.
out!
Right, I don't need any of this right now.
Yeah, yeah.
As far as like with you, Mike, in your workspace, can I ask you, has there been any, besides like you said that they've been doing stuff to the floor, right? Has there been any other type of new construction? Is what, that's what I'd like to know.
So this location, it was like 25 years old. We actually did do a remodel last year, and that's when they did the floors and new counters and paint job and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Little odds and ends here and there. So,
Lots of noise.
oh yeah, I mean they like tore up the entire floor, all the tiles. They put all new flooring down.
Yeah, that'll do it too, though. Sometimes when you're dealing with dormant spirits, they can be like drummed up because of like new construction or anything, where you're remodeling a building or something, especially if the building's been there for a long time and these spirits have occupied that space for a long time and have been undisturbed. Now what you're doing is you're starting to change stuff, right? You're messing with their habitat, and that can drum up a lot of spiritual activity that can come around. Sometimes they can just be curious, but other times they can be mischievous, right? And they'll kind of ramp up a lot of the activity in order to kind of scare people to try to get them out of their space. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but the fact that you're actually seeing this yellow goo, because I mean, I'm a person who, like, over the years, I've seen problems with like foundation and stuff like that in different houses and whatnot. And I've seen the damage that can happen because of water. And usually the foundation will just start to kind of break down over time, and it'll just start to decay and just fall away and break, and you'll end up with like this huge hole in the foundation. So, but the fact that you're saying that they're finding this like weird goo underneath the floors
No,
kind
like
of,
on top of the floor, like on top of the
oh, it's on
tile.
top.
Yeah,
Is
in
that
two different locations.
bro?
And
That's,
it
yeah,
I feel like
well,
we're gonna have to come back to this one. Honestly, I feel like you're gonna have to keep us updated on
absolutely.
what's going on. Because if there's something there, it's gonna keep happening. It's not just gonna stop. And
Hmm.
then I don't know, man. We might have to give you some assistance.
I think I might have to make a field trip.
I might have to do a clearing on you or something.
Might have to,
so it
yeah, have to make a field trip over to your store, man,
Yeah.
and see what I
so so
see.
I so I definitely like the second response better of, maybe the construction tore something up instead of maybe something trying to hunt me. But yes,
Of course, obviously, you don't want to.
I will keep the listeners and watchers and you guys also up to date if there's any new developments with that. Okay, so Nikki,
Hmm.
special guest. We only have so much time with you. I want to get to know you. I want our listeners, our watchers to get to know you. In our little pre-show, we were kind of talking um, you were telling us how you've traveled and you went to haunted places. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So I would say the most haunted place I've been to is Penhurst Asylum. They do haunted houses there. But it's definitely one of those places you need to go in, like, especially if you're someone like me or Abraham, like, you need to go in and be very, very mindful of what you're walking yourself into because that place is legitimately haunted. The American Horror Story Asylum was based off of that because of the awful things. And it actually just shut down too not that long ago. I forget the exact date, but like not that long ago. And they were still doing these horrific things. Like once you were checked in there, your life was signed away and they could do anything they wanted to you. And they had these little underground tunnels basically where they would be like carrying the bodies through. They were doing unspeakable things. So when you go there, like the first time I ever went there, I remember instantly being hit. And there's a little playground, and I remember seeing that and feeling this like gut wrenching feeling when I looked at the playground.
Hmm.
And the last time I just went last fall, and I went obviously knowing I was like shielding up as much as possible. But I remember when walking through that underground, I could just feel like all these lost souls just stuck underneath the floor as I was walking. And then when I left, I could feel something clawing at my neck the whole way home. And I was like, I had to do all my stuff to get it off of me. But like a normal person, again, this is where I say, like, we don't realize how much attachments can affect us because a normal person probably wouldn't feel that, they wouldn't know that, right? So
Hmm.
you're putting yourself into a situation where you're vulnerable and you leave that situation, you don't realize what you have attached to you. But I feel like I don't know, that place is, people love it. It's great for a haunted house, but that place is no joke, the energy that's in it.
I've heard a lot of stories about that place, and I know that there's been like a lot of different famous ghost hunters and stuff that would like, go and do their own investigations there.
Yeah.
You can draw your own conclusions with that. There are some that I believe that are legitimate, and then there's others that I feel like they just kind of make stuff up. And being empathic, you can feel, which ones are legit and which ones are just absolutely fake that are just bullshitting. But like the sad part of like just the asylum, the fact that you were even able to walk in that place amazes me, honestly. Because I mean, there's been times where
The texture is beautiful.
I bet,
I
but
mean, it
like,
really is like such an interesting place, but it is heavy. So this is the craziest part when you're in there. You almost, especially if you're someone like us, you almost start to revel in the craziness, right? It's like almost like I was taking on that energy of just like, I was just like, it was the wildest feeling.
that's interesting. Like your approach is very different, right? Because immediately when I'm met with any type of energy that I'm not used to, immediately I freak out and I start to like put the walls up and stuff. But you're more like, yo, bring it on. Like bring it on.
Have to be because so like I said, I've always been attacked from stuff since I was a kid. And like honestly, I remember
Mm,
being 19 years old. I would hear, I mean, I'm better at now being again shielded from it, but like I would hear literally voices telling me they were going to do horrific things to me, like creepy voices. I remember being
whoa.
in high school, I would be up till 4 a.m. because I couldn't fall asleep because of what I was feeling on me. So now I have no choice but to literally like embrace it in order to face it. And it's freaking terrifying. Like one time I was trying to do a clearing on myself. I had to call
Mhm.
forth what spirit was trying to attack me, and I could feel it crawling on my body. And it
Mm,
was terrifying, but there was no way to face it and get and help actually get rid of it unless I actually went towards it. But again, that's where I personally have, like I said, dark deities that I work with. And I find that having those, like I used to work with only archangels, having
mhm.
those deities helps me actually be protected now because there's just like, I don't know, working with the dark in the weirdest way helps me fight the actual dark that's bad,
No, I can definitely see
if that
how.
makes any sense. And it makes
Yeah.
me be less fearless to it because it's like I'm aware it's there, right? I can't
Hmm.
ignore it. So it's either face it or it's
Hmm.
just going to be
Oh yeah, absolutely.
it's
And I
there either
feel
way.
you with that. When you were talking about like the sleepless nights, I've had many of those. I continue to still have those. Like I had a spirit that plagued me. There was like 5 straight nights that I did not sleep because I had this thing that was just dancing above me, scary goat thing, that would just dance above me, and it was absolutely horrible. But the funny thing was is that you have this kind of unorthodox way of dealing with it, and it kind of makes me laugh because like I found that there are some methods that I do with some of the lower level kind of nuisance spirits that like would mess with me back then. I would just get so mad at these things because I'm like, dude, I'm exhausted. It's going on like the fourth, fifth night. And so I took kind of a childish approach to it. And so I would hear, these things telling me you're ugly, you're stupid, you're not worth anything. Right. And I took kind of like a childish approach to it. And you know how like anybody who has like an annoying little brother or sister will tell you there's this like period that they go through where they will start to just repeat everything that you say. And it's super annoying. And so I don't know what it was that hit me, but I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start doing that. So that's what I did. The next time I got hit with like a crazy, spirit that was telling me all of these negative things, trying to put all these negative things in my head, I legit would just repeat it back to it. Like you're ugly.
I
You're
love that.
you're yeah, it was so juvenile, but it actually worked.
Whatever works, honestly, in those moments, you're just trying to do whatever you can to make it.
Yeah. I mean, and there's been times where I've legit haven't done anything, right? Like I'd be like laying in bed And like you, I would feel these things start to crawl all over the bed. The weight would shift, and you feel the heaviness on top of you. And they do these things to try to scare you, right? They're just like they're trying to get this reaction out of you. So I've gotten like jolted. I've gotten like my leg pulled, and I
Yeah.
still just pretend to be asleep. Like I would literally just no
I'll just be like,
reaction.
I am more powerful than you. Get out.
Well,
But I
I
feel like because once I was scared, like my voices when I was young and they would be like, I'm in the creepiest voice, like they would be like, I'm gonna chop your head off. I can still and I will never
oh,
forget that voice. And I was like terrified. And now I'm just like, I refuse, like, no. But I will say the amazing thing about working with what I work with, like I get they make themselves known in the way that you would think like poltergeist would, but I know when it's the difference because like
mhm.
mine will flicker the lights, but they'll do it in a sense of like if I'm calling on them, they'll flicker the lights, let me know either confirmation, they'll do it to yell
Oh
at
wow.
me. So, or like I have one guy that is like I don't know the word I'm looking for, represented in a specific tarot card. I will
Mhm.
just find that tarot card everywhere. Or I'll be like, all right, show me a sign, whether it's a butterfly or a crow or whatever, and like it'll show up and I'll know that like my God is there. So for me, I feel like knowing I have that, like, it's like a big sister or a big whatever, like
Mhm.
working with me, it makes me feel now like I can handle these things. But still, it's
That
freaking
yeah.
terrifying.
That's actually very interesting that you say that because there's a lot, I rub shoulders with some people in the spiritual community of all different faiths and all different practices, right?
Yeah, because there's so
And
much.
so when you're, in practices like voodoo and santeria and palo mayambe and like a bunch of even with certain types of witchcraft, they work with different spirits, right? And they use spirits and deities in order to help protect themselves, to cleanse themselves, to rid themselves of any type of negative spiritual attachments, dark spell work. So it's very interesting. Is there a particular practice that you do, like what would it fall under if you're comfortable with sharing it? What would like your title be, or even if it's just something that you yourself you're like, well, I don't have a label, for what
That's
I
how
do.
I feel. So like I say I'm witchy, right? Like I am witchy. I do witchy stuff. But I don't like to label myself as anything, and that's I feel like what like Nikki Ray Unplugged
Hmm.
is about being uncensored, unlabeled. Like I don't like to fall in a box
Okay.
because I think everyone's entitled to believe what they want to believe. I do witchy stuff, but sometimes like I have my main guides, right? But I'm open to the fact that maybe something else is going to pop in that's outside of what I normally would believe in, and that doesn't mean that's wrong.
Hmm.
So I guess I wouldn't say I have. I to me, it's all about feeling. It's about what feels right.
Absolutely.
I don't like to put a box in that, if that makes sense. Like
No,
when I had my
absolutely.
guide come to me, it actually was a guide whose name I heard years prior in learning about like witchcraft. And I was terrified of her. Oh my gosh. I was
Hmm.
like, she sounds really cool and really powerful, but I'm scared, right? But
Hmm.
then when I was doing it was the same time when I was trying to get that nasty thing off of me, and I was just like, who is it that I'm supposed to work with? And her name just popped right in. Like I didn't even remember her name. And it just came at me. And it was, to be honest, it was something that was like hard for me to believe was even real because I was like, how like it's hard to believe it's real. But
Yeah.
the way that she shows up and not just like it's not just a feeling, like she shows up,
Mm.
she will make herself known. If I'm just like, hey, can you whatever, like lights will start, she makes herself known and she is incredibly protective. So for me that helps. And it helps having that confirmation in physical form because that's another thing. Like I always wondered, like, is this just in my head? Am I just crazy? But like anyone who's been around me long enough has,
Hmm.
like my best friend, she can confirm, she's seen stuff, she feels stuff. I've had people at my house, like my ex-boyfriend, one time he didn't believe in anything like this. He didn't believe in ghosts, he didn't believe in anything. And he came outside one time, we're having a fire, and he was like, oh my God, I just saw something inside. And then I went in the closet and I heard it talk to me.
Well,
So like people get I was like one time his friend stayed over on my couch and he woke up and he was like, I had this like dream, like it was out of body, something was attacking me. And my ex-boyfriend looked at me and he was like, yeah, that just kind of happens when you're around.
wow. Oh man,
Yeah.
that's crazy. The experiences that people have around you.
It's like my whole life, to be honest with you. Like to me, like I'm sure same to you, like this is just my life. Like I don't know anything else. It's been like that for so long that
Hmm. Well, it's funny
Again,
that you
this is
say, you
why,
know, you
yeah.
talk about like not wanting to put yourself in a box, right? Because there are some people out there that are really comfortable with doing that, right? And then anybody who hears the experiences that you have and the practices that you do in order to, you know, keep yourself at least in a positive frame of mind to protect yourself from these bad things will automatically say that it's negative. Will automatically say that it's dark and it's evil and you're this and you're that and you need to repent, and you know what I'm saying? There's
Well,
a
the
lot
amount of people in
of
my comments that are like, "You need to have whatever," and then you'll, yeah, oh yeah,
yeah. And it's funny because I mean, I'm sure that you have people that are probably inboxing you and telling you like, "Hey, I've got you know, I've got this situation that's happening with me. Can you help me out? Can you give me some advice?" and things of that nature. But then like I've noticed that when I will comment in you know, to these, I will reply to these comments and then you always have that person, you know, this person, your religion is wrong or what you practice is wrong and mine is right, and you need to
yep,
give yourself over to my religion because this is the
oh
sun,
yeah. I have so
you
many
know.
of those.
Right. And I have respect for every single practice out there, you know
That's
what I'm
how I
saying?
feel.
I respect
There's no right
everybody's.
or wrong. I mean, gosh, like I
Mhm.
feel like I don't know. The big picture of it all is so big that at the
Mm.
end of the day, we have no idea. Sometimes it's like these could just be archetypes that we, like. Do you ever see The Matrix?
God, yes.
Yeah.
Love the bait.
I relate a lot of things to that, right? And a lot of it is what we create in our own brain. And if you
Mhm.
believe it to be so, you're creating it to be so.
Mm.
So I feel like who knows, right? Like it could be
Mhm.
our own mental archetypes that we create. Who freaking knows? I just think, like, to me, I have no judgment towards what you believe, and whatever works for you. We're just doing,
Mhm.
we're just out here trying to figure out
Right. And the only time
whatever.
that I have a problem, the only time I have a problem with that stuff is when I have somebody who's, you know, they're trying to start preaching to me and start telling me like, "Oh, you know what you're doing is wrong and you're evil and you're bad and you're
Like
not."
tarot cards are evil. And I'm like, okay.
Right. And you're like you're trying to, I don't know, you're communicating, you're the spirits you're communicating with are not good spirits. There's no such thing as like a good spirit unless it's an angel, and it's like,
Yep.
wow. I don't
Well,
know.
that's where
I
my
mean,
biggest
I
thing
might
is. I'm
be
like,
we might
yeah,
be we might be touching on like unpopular, you know, things, but I do feel like whenever you're dealing with like spirituality, you have to understand that it's like an onion, right? There's layers to it. There's, you know, different things. There's different people from all different walks of life. There's tons of cultures out there. The world is a huge place, right? And then beyond the world, there is the universe, right? There are things out there too that we, you know, sometimes come across. And so I just think that it's important for us to have this kind of common just a source of like, I don't know, just common understanding and just respect for everybody from all walks and, you know, the things that they practice. As long as you're not, listen, as long as you're not hurting anybody,
that's
oh,
how I
then
feel.
you're good with me. That's
Do
all I
you?
gotta say. You
Yep.
know, but I
Well,
That's
just
how
that
I
think
kind
it's
of
feel.
so cool. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike. Bro, I
no.
feel
I
so
was good.
bad. We're like,
No, no,
I
no. You
feel
guys are
We're,
good.
I know,
No.
Abraham, we're gonna have FaceTimes now. I already know it. Something crazy going on.
absolutely. I look forward to it. I definitely look forward.
Yeah.
No, no, I've been enjoying listening to you guys talk and this and that,
We're just
soaking it
going.
all in. But no, it reminded me of just a few nights ago. We were on that live, and somebody joined the live, and they had like a god of child name, etc. And they started posting like
Hmm.
Bible verses and stuff like that. And I was telling
Hmm.
Abraham after the live is, I get that all the time since I've created Scary Vibes over the last 6 years.
Yeah.
I get people that are like, "What you're doing is evil," or they give me Bible verses and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I mean, what we do, you could take it as, uh, a few episodes ago, we had somebody reach out saying, what Abraham was talking about, like his empath stories and stuff like that. She said it was satire. And, like we said in that, the response to that is like, you could take these episodes as entertainment, you could take them as truth. These are, your guys' experiences and you guys are just sharing them. Our listeners and
Right.
watchers right now don't have to believe anything,
It's
you're just
so, yeah,
sharing it,
it's so real.
you know. When you were talking about that spirit visiting you 5 nights in a row, Abraham, I was actually
Mhm.
curious to both of you guys. is there some like elusive spirit or thing that's like throughout your entire life? Is there like one main spirit that's like followed you for the longest amount of time that like has a name to you? And I'm
I have a
curious.
crazy one. I'll let you go first if you want to.
Honestly, I can say that I don't have one that's followed me throughout, my entire life. I've had a couple that would show up like a few nights in a row, but I have not had one that's like attached itself to me to where I haven't been able to get rid of it. Eventually, I do come to a place where I'm able to either communicate with it or physically, not physically, metaphysically force it away from me to where it's like, okay, I don't want to mess with this dude anymore. I'm bored or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I don't have an actual spirit that has like keeps coming back. No, I do not. I can honestly say that.
What about you, Nikki?
I have one. He's been gone for a bit now. But I had an ex-boyfriend in real life when I was about 21 who ended his life a little after our relationship. And it was crazy because when we broke up, I felt that there was something in his body breaking us up, if that makes sense. And I remember saying at the time, I was like, this is so weird. Later learning that it was something protecting me, because he then did that and brought someone along with him, and it was a obviously awful thing. And my mom went to a and like I would feel him around, right? But my mom went to a medium and she never really believed any of this stuff. My mom, like, they were like, listen, your daughter sees, your daughter this, your daughter that.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, she has this black force around her right now that is literally draining her life force. And
Mm-hmm.
immediately my mom like knew what that was. And then it was like, and she's very lucky because she had something that protected her. So her life was almost cut short and something protected her. My mom looked over at my aunt and was like, do you know this story? And so then she comes home, she tells me, and I was like, okay, I know it's him and we got it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, can I sleep in your room that night? Go upstairs in her room, lights just blow out completely. And she was just like, oh my God. My mom never really believed me about this stuff until then. And she was like, oh my God, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had dated somebody else at that point. He would always tell me, he's like, I feel him around. Like, I feel him. So I didn't have anyone to help me. So I was doing this like whole meditation, doing everything I could to like truly get him off of me and get him out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as the meditation was over, I literally got so sick to my stomach and I ran upstairs and I threw up.
Wow.
And like, and I wasn't sick after that. I just threw up right after the meditation. And then my mom was still kind of like, I don't know, maybe. And then she goes to Wawa and she comes back and she was like, oh my God, my receipt was sick. Well, Wawa's a thing around here. I don't know if you have it there, but she was like, my receipt was 666. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
do you believe, But he was dark. Like, I had dreams of him later on that like literally like things from down below were like telling me that he was like part of like he was a dark little
Oh, wow.
spirit.
So he was probably dealing with a lot of, yeah, just dealing with a lot
Well, to
of.
do what he did, he had to have clearly so much like not, whatever stuff in him, but that I would say that was
Mm-hmm.
the most like prevalent thing that followed me around for a long time that
Mm-hmm.
like not just showed it through me, but my own mom had the experience with it.
Right. And then it's the validation that comes with it, man.
Yeah.
Because you don't
So you
always
don't think
get
you're
that.
crazy?
Absolutely. You don't always
Because we're
get that.
always questioning, like, am I nuts? But,
Mm-hmm.
having that validation helps.
Yeah. I
So that's
remember
like,
now that I think about it, it's funny that you were saying that. So, Mike, I didn't have a specific thing come at me, but I had a person that was sending a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? It was a very dark spiritual practitioner that was sending spiritual attacks. And when
Oh, yeah.
one thing would fail, they would send another one, and then another one, and then another one. And it just became
so
this crazy thing, you know.
so give me some examples of what kind of attacks were you encountering?
Oh, well, we've talked a couple times, like early in the podcast, when we first started. But just as like a recap, I would get attacked at night specifically. There,
Mhm.
she would send these things to attack me, to try to kill me in my sleep, or to try to at least make it look like I died in my sleep. So basically, it was the first time, it was dolls, these like old, tattered, old timey, kind of decaying looking dolls that all jumped on top of me, and then they all kind of like circled my head, and they all grabbed their arms together, and they like started to squeeze to try to choke me. That was one. And then I had visited, let's see, these things that look like nuns, which kind of look like the movie The Nun, with like these really razor jagged teeth and these long claws. And I remember I woke up in the middle of the night and they were on top of my ceiling, and they jumped on top of me and started scratching at me and stuff like that. That was horrible. Then I had another one that was like a couple, but they literally just looked like a male and a female that were wearing like white t-shirts, and it looked like something out of like an asylum or something. You know, they had the real jagged teeth. Their eyes were basically just black voids. That was another one that I dealt with. Then there was this really, really big black, it looked like a jungle cat, but like straight out of your nightmares. It had the inside of its mouth was glowing like green. The eyes were green. So think about like a gigantic panther that had like spikes and tendrils coming out of its back. You know, that was another one. Yeah, it was just, she was relentless, man. Just bad. I don't want to get
How'd you
too.
get her? How'd you get her to go away?
I actually ended up having to go to a more experienced spiritual practitioner that
Yeah.
helped me rid my body of all of the, bad spell work, get rid of all that kind of stuff. I, was able to take different a different approach to be able to protect myself, to bind them from doing anything to me. I don't want to get specifically into that because I know like people are going to start like inboxing me and what's going on, who was it,
Who
the
was
thing
it?
is,
Yeah.
right. And it's like, if I go into that stuff, then that person, what they don't understand is that like these people, they'll know that we're talking about them, right? And then they'll start up with their shit again. And it's like, I don't
Yeah.
want to do that.
Well, especially with us, like this is the biggest thing with us all being present on social media. Like I've noticed
Hmm.
the more I grow in it, the more I have to like shield myself even more because I feel the attacks from even more because we're gonna have judgment, right? Anyone just sending that negative energy to you. Like I made a ward last time I made a ward, I did like a water ward
Mm,
and the water was sucked up within days, meaning it was taking all the hits from everything that was coming at me.
really?
I remember looking on my kitchen counter and being like, how is it gone?
Hmm.
So I just feel like with us, even just doing what we're doing,
Hmm.
you're having strangers from who knows where, like
Oh yeah.
sending you things that you don't even realize are coming at you.
Oh yeah. And like there's been times where we've talked about like technology and how spirits are basically just energy, right? And it literally can transfer, like think of your screen as being a portal, right? I mean, anything that's electric is a conduit, right? And they can travel through those things. And there's been times where I've been watching documentaries and I've had to turn them off. Or like I'm watching a ghost hunting show and yeah, I literally can feel something coming through the screen
That's
trying
why
to.
a lot of that stuff I can't watch, truthfully,
Mhm.
because of the fact that I'm so susceptible to it. There's certain stuff where I'm like, it's not worth it.
No, seriously. And the funny thing is that people are like, well, if you know that you could potentially get this attachment or whatever, why do you even try to watch it? It's like, well, I mean, this stuff, I love this kind of
You're like,
stuff,
I
right?
like it.
Right. It's like you have to try to learn,
I'm dancing with the devil here. You're like, I want to watch it, but I know it
so
might,
to
yeah,
speak. So to speak. It's like,
I
listen,
get it. That's like
there
me going to
isn't,
Penhurst.
regardless of how many books are out there that people have written, right, about being empathic or being, a witch or anything like that. I like to tell people that like there are no spiritual being is the same as the other, right? I'm
Yep.
an empath, you're an empath, but what we each individually experience, although there are similarities, we will
It's
never
our
be.
own experience.
We experience things differently, right? What I experience might not mirror exactly what you're experiencing. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I agree.
And so that's the thing that
That's like
kind of,
the fun part of it though. Like is
it
like
is.
when you find the similarities, so you're like, okay, we're connecting, but like you have your experience and I have mine, and I think it just makes everything so much more intriguing.
It
You know what I
does.
mean?
Hmm.
Yeah.
It irks me when there's people that, especially on social media, right, that are claimed to be spiritual practitioners, and like I said, game recognizes game. When you are empathic or spiritual in nature, there is a familiarity that you feel when you speak to a person. It's almost as though
Yep.
there's like a comfort there, like you've known them for so
100%.
long, right? But then there's times where you'll see somebody and they're always the most like granola person, and they're like, I tell people they're always like, oh, ashe, namaste, and it comes off very fake, and you're just kind of like, your spirit and your energy is like,
Well, the biggest thing I learned is when someone's like, I only believe in love and light, right? So I used to try to, and I always was dark, right? I looked dark, but I was like, okay, I need to just work with light to be able to get rid of the dark. No, we live in a world of polarity and
oh
duality.
yes,
And at the end of the day, there's good and there's bad, right?
mm-hmm,
That is the reality. It's not all love and light.
mm-hmm,
Like, and I think learning how to embrace that is the best way you can actually deal with it. Hey, if they're happy, to each their own. But I agree with you. And I feel like sometimes those people can be actually the most judgmental. And I think people like you and I, like, I'm not judgmental.
yeah. And that's what I was gonna say. Like you said, there's a balance, right?
Yeah,
You
there's
have to take the
balance.
good
That's
with the
exactly.
bad, but you also have to take the bad with the good at the same time.
Yep.
You're
Yeah.
never really going to be able to ward off absolutely everything without an understanding of the other side, without an understanding
Well,
of
and just
dark.
like as humans, we have both. It's the
Absolutely.
same thing, you
Yeah.
know?
Like there's been a lot of people that I've dealt with who come off as being the most positive person, but I've gotten just the most horrible energy. There was this guy I used to work with, man, that everybody absolutely loved. And on the surface, he was a very positive guy. Hey, how are you? What's going on? Shaking everybody's hand, giving people high fives, and everybody's like, oh man, he's so cool. But I would physically get ill around this person. I'm like, oh my, I cannot be around this person because I feel like I'm going to throw up. Oh,
Yep.
there was one time I had to give him a ride home because my boss was
Oh
like,
God.
hey, Abraham, yeah, I told him you can give him a ride home. And I was like, fuck, dude. You literally, oh man,
I have
bro.
this man in my car.
It's like now you literally, you just put like a barrel of toxic waste into my truck
I
with
get it. Cause I'll be like out of breath. My heart will start racing. And I'm like, I can't breathe. And then
right.
once they're gone and you like get rid of it, you're like, okay, I'm fine again. Like,
Yeah, dude. It was a horrible, horrible experience. And I was just like, when these things happen, your automatic response is to get as far away from what's causing this, and I couldn't because he literally was sitting a foot away from me
in your car.
in
Yeah.
my truck on a really long drive from the south
Yeah.
side of Chicago all the way over to the north side of Chicago. And I was like, oh my god, this it was just horrible. But it was this whole thing about him portraying this very positive, likable, was his personality, and he was such a great guy. But I was
Everyone thinks he's so great.
right, but it's like I'm literally sensing all of the negativity, everything that's coming off of this
Yeah.
guy. It was bad. It was really, really bad. Got to the point to where I could not, like, I was avoiding the guy. Every time I would go into work and I would see him coming, I was like, oh, I got to get out of here. Like, I got to run. I got to get as far away from this guy as possible because otherwise I'm going to be sick for the rest of the day. It was bad. And we
Well,
worked in,
true.
worked in like close quarters. So that was just a period of my life where I was just suffering every day. It was
Some
so.
people just have that like vampiric energy on them. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's where I feel like they have more attachments than they even realize.
Mm-hmm. So
Those
that's
people.
why when you run into people that you have really, really good energy with, like Mike, Mr. Scary Vibes, man, this is my guy. This is my brother right here. You know what
I
I'm saying?
believe it. That's how I felt about you guys. Honestly, as soon as our group chat started, I just felt
Mm-hmm.
like it was like a bunch of friends just hanging out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, I hope we still hang out and talk in our group chat after this because I already felt like you guys were so cool and we all were just like of the same type of energy.
Likewise. And the thing is that's the thing that I'm really enjoying. And I know, Mike, you probably too, man. We've already made like some good friends, some great friends off
Oh,
of
I
being able
believe it.
to, now that we've been able to include other people, from different areas now that we've talked to. And they're just such cool individuals, man. Just really,
Mhm.
really cool people, and you have to trust that energy, right? And the thing is,
Yeah,
even if you're not empathic, listen, there is some level of everybody is spiritually gifted to some degree, right? And it's all just depends on how tuned in you are to that spirituality, or
yeah, I
to those
agree.
vibes. And I tell people, like, listen, that whenever you get that feeling in your head where you're like, something's up with this person, I don't trust this person. That's literally your spirit communicating with you and telling you like, hey,
Yeah.
my energy and their energy does not mesh. There's a reason
Yeah.
why your guard is up when it comes to specific people, or even when you're like, man, I got a bad feeling about this, right? That's your higher self is telling you like, hey, listen, you need to be careful, keep an eye
Or
on this.
when your gut's just talking to you, especially when you're in tune with it, like you
Hmm.
have to listen.
But
Yeah.
I'll definitely agree with you guys. When I see people who are overly happy and they're overly churchy and oh my god, nice to see you.
Hmm.
It's a big red flag. A big red flag. What are you hiding? This isn't you. This isn't a real person. Real people aren't. Oh my god, how are the kids? How
Well,
is
and
this?
I
How is
find
this?
those
You
people
know?
to be the most judgmental sometimes, don't you think?
No, exactly. Yeah. So you can never really be yourself around them because you're like, oh my God, just stay away from me. So I could definitely understand where, sometimes people put on this mask to hide who they really are. Not like this mask, but like, their personality mask.
Yeah.
Um, but like you were saying, Nikki, we created that chat to kind of talk about the episode. And when we created it, Abraham, you actually shared a I
Hmm.
thought it'd be kind of cool to kind of talk about to close out this episode.
Hmm.
It was about those hikers. What was the story all about?
So the funny thing was is I know that we were kind of talking about like the Appalachian Mountains and how there's just so much craziness that goes on with that, right? Because the Appalachian Mountains, they span across 9 states. That's huge. That's massive, right? And for some reason, I don't know, this just kind of reminded me of that, but there was a friend of mine that told me about this documentary that they had just watched, and the name actually escapes me, but there was an incident that happened back in 1959 that had to do with some hikers, 9 hikers that lost their lives, right? And all of them were very experienced hikers. And this happened in the Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union. And so it's no, if you want to look it up, it's called the Dyatlov. So it's spelled Dyatlov, right? And I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I apologize for anybody that is from that region of the world. I apologize if I'm butchering it. But yeah, so basically there were these hikers that went up like their version of Everest, right? This Dyatlov Pass, and they ended up going missing. And so when a search party went to look for these 9 hikers that again were very very experienced, they found their bodies, but the manner in which their bodies were kind of left, right? The way that they found their bodies was inconsistent with how it was reported that they passed away, right? So, like, the authorities were reporting that these 9 hikers were killed during a an avalanche incident that ended up happening while they were up in the mountain. But apparently, there was like some really weird things that were going on. Broken bones, some of them were found with broken bones, which, okay, if you get hit with a avalanche, obviously you're going to have bodily injuries to you, right? I mean, that's a heavy impact with heavy snow, heavy ice. So you're definitely going to find like broken bones, bruises, contusions, all of that, all those kinds of things. But the really odd thing was is that a lot of the people that were killed that they found had their eyes and their tongues missing,
So
which
weird.
is so strange. It is so strange
Yeah.
because I don't care how hard you get hit with an avalanche.
Yeah, like
It doesn't, something about it
the
seems
math
very
ain't mathin'. I don't know.
exactly. There's just
Oh
like
man.
it's very odd. And then you hear about things like that. They've never been able to explain what exactly happened to these 9 hikers. I think it would be that's like subject matter for a great horror movie. That somebody can go and actually show obviously change the identities and names to, be able to, you don't want to offend any family members of these hikers and, things of that nature. But I think that would be so cool to be able to create, like, okay, we're going to fabricate this story about these hikers that went missing, but then we're going to show you what it was that they actually, their cause of death,
Yeah.
what it was that it could have been supernatural. It could have been I don't know, like a UFO type incident with like
Aliens. That's what I'm
aliens,
thinking. That's
right? Something, but
I mean, you ain't wrong there.
you know,
That's us. Can we have another subject or another
okay,
episode? Well, because I feel like
absolutely.
aliens are a whole another topic.
Oh yeah, big
no,
time.
but
We've had some conversations about aliens. Go ahead.
definitely as you're as you were talking about that story, I mean, in your mind, like, was it a creature, a cryptic, was it aliens? When I was preparing for this episode, I was looking into the Appalachian Mountains and creepy things like that. And I guess there's a legend in the Appalachian Mountains about moon-eyed people, and it
Mhm.
says it's a race of small, pale, blind cave dwellers who only come out at night. So a whole race of people that live in
Appalachians
the
are no
caves.
joke. My friend, I was just talking to her about this when we were talking about it, and she said she had friends that were there that
Mhm.
had true paranormal experiences. Like she was like, it's actually not a lie; it's not made up. Because like I said to you guys, I've always heard like, if you're out there, if you hear your name, no, you didn't. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you ignore it. But she said that she actually knows people that were there that had true experiences. Like it is not a lie.
that would be awesome for us to get somebody who's had like legit experiences
I
being
know.
up in the Appalachian Mountains. And like, I'm over here. Look, I'm messing with my camera, guys. There's nothing paranormal going on. It's literally just my foot kicking the camera.
I know.
Um,
Mine's my cat. She keeps knocking.
but yeah, that would be so cool to actually hear the experiences, because like these people are legit afraid. The people that are from those areas that live in those mountains, they're afraid to go out after dark. Like that's a huge rule with them.
You
They can't
don't. It's
out,
like you
right?
don't. No.
Exactly. Like,
From what
bro.
I know, I think you don't. I wouldn't.
Abraham, you
So the weird
Abraham,
thing
you
is,
kicked my mic.
Because I heard there's a stuff called, I'm told you don't say the name out loud, but it's like the skin.
okay, I know where you're going. Yeah, I know where you're going with that.
I'm told we don't say that name out loud, so I'm not even going to say it.
hmm So, Mike,
But
I know.
I think that's like a thing that's out there.
Oh yeah, I
My
mean
friend
that's
just said she had an experience something like that the other night.
really.
Yeah, she said she felt like it was something like that. She was at her boyfriend's house and she said there was a fox staring through the window and it was staring at them and it just started screaming. And she was like, I don't know if you ever heard a fox scream. And I looked it up and it's creepy. And she said it was
Yeah.
just staring at them through the thing, screaming.
I think
And
that's
she
Whoa.
was like,
creepy.
I feel like it was a skin thing. And I was like, oh god. She's like, but we don't say the name. I'm like, okay,
The
noted.
thing that isn't there something so creepy about like animals not doing what they're normally supposed to do that just kind of really freaks you out, right? I mean, I know we were talking about our, pets and everything. We're used to that, but like, it's like, okay, if I come in contact with a wild animal and they're either staring at me or, I mean, that in itself is already creepy. But if they start doing something like, I don't know, like walking around in a circle or just
Yep.
staring at something and not moving, that's going to freak me the hell out.
Yeah, the only
Definitely.
thing I get down with is my crows. My crows, they come, they chat it up, they're always there. And then anyone who, like, if I'm dating someone new, they'll be like, all of a sudden there's crows following me. I'm like, yeah,
You
because they're
have
trying to
crows
check you
too?
out. Oh, yeah, crows are my besties. Like, my main homies are the crows.
Dude, that's
There's
so crazy.
there's
You,
crows that
why?
live.
That's the same for you?
I have two. Yeah, I have two of them that just pop up everywhere that I go. That's so
Yeah.
crazy.
Like,
Wow.
they'll just be shout. I mean, no matter what time of year, the
Uh,
crows are like they're just always there. Like it was funny as we were sitting here and I kept
mhm,
looking up because I kept seeing crows flying there and then my cat was going to the window to get but
mhm.
like they're just that's yeah, those are the homies.
Wow, dude, that's
And the
so cool.
crows are such a like fascinating creatures on their own because they live in that in between and there's such fascinating things about crows, period.
And they're so intelligent. They are so
Oh, yeah.
excellent problem solvers, man. If you go on like
Yeah.
social media and like YouTube or anything like that, there are videos. They are so intelligent and they're excellent, excellent problem solvers, man. But I just
Mhm.
thought I was like, man, these every time I look, like I'll be in downtown Chicago and there they are, two of them
Yep.
perched up
Same.
on perched up on a street lamp or whatever, and then I'll be all the way far like south side. My job would take me all over the place. It would take me to like the suburbs, it would take me to different states, and these two would just be where I was at. Like, man, it's just crazy that hearing you talk about crows, and I'm like,
Bring up
okay,
the crows.
okay, That's crazy.
So like Nikki was saying, she kind of teased the idea, but definitely we're gonna have to do this again.
I
Yeah.
know.
This was a real fun episode.
Yeah.
Nikki, I want to thank you for coming on.
Aw, thanks for having me.
If you kind of want to talk about, your socials, what you're doing, how people could find you.
So I'm Nikki Ray Unplugged. Emphasis on the unplugged. I made that purposely because again, I my page is a mixture of um I talk about music, metal, I talk about mental health, I'm bipolar, I make very real raw videos about that. The books I read, like you name it, right? I have I guess an alternative presence, but I have so many things that fall under that umbrella. But the biggest thing about my page is that everything is just again unscripted. Like
Mm.
it's like I'd make jokes about how I want to make a podcast, and I'm like I'll get canceled because I just don't. I don't like to censor myself. So that's the biggest thing on my page, and I think that's also where I have such an awesome community
Hmm.
that I'm building because it's people that are just like I wish I could say that, but you said it, you know?
Got
Like
you. Cool.
I'll be the guy. I don't know. But yeah, it's the same
Okay.
name on Instagram and TikTok. I started my TikTok first actually to see if I don't know, it was one of those a hope and a dream, like let's see if it'll work. But I really was
Hmm.
like, I don't know. I had no idea it would turn into what it is. I made the TikTok and within 2 months it grew to I think like 10,000. And then a few months later it was at 20,000. So in December, I decided to make an Instagram to follow. Started from nothing, 0 followers. And I had to build a whole new community because TikTok actually didn't fall over. And I was a little nervous because I knew Instagram would be a little tougher. The people are a little tougher, but I made it in December and now it's at like 19,000, almost 20,000 followers. So that's where I always say with the universe, like, I'm so big on if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? It's gonna work out. The universe is
Hmm.
gonna support you. And that tells me, like, keep doing what I'm doing and don't let anybody, what anyone's saying, stop me because it wouldn't be working out if it wasn't supposed to,
There
if there
you go.
wasn't an actual purpose behind it. And I've had awesome opportunities working with you guys, but then I've
Hmm.
had opportunities. I posted about this recently. I had an opportunity to do something that would have been probably really financially beneficial, but it didn't align with Nikki Ray Unplugged at all.
Mm.
And it was such a tough call, but my gut was like, no, this doesn't, this, you're being tested by the universe, right? To see if you take the bait. So I
Hmm.
had to say no. And then I came home and I asked my tarot cards and they clarified, like, you're doing the right thing.
Wow.
So yeah, that's my
I
little
had I
story.
had I had something similar where somebody was trying to pay me to put something on my story that was just like
Not you.
so far from what I would normally post, and I was like, no,
Yeah.
I can't do this.
Yeah, you can't take it because you're the same thing. You're you. And
Yeah,
Hmm.
you have your followers, and they're used to your certain type of style. So if you throw something out of it, you're just gonna get turned off by it. It's not worth it,
well,
long term.
Right.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's not worth it. People will lose respect for you.
You know what, Nikki? There was one thing that I did want to touch on, the fact that you said that, you basically had built like this community. People were just interested in the things that, you talked about, your experiences, everything that you were dealing with. Like I had said earlier, that there is no instruction manual to this. So when you start talking about this, then the people that are spiritually touched or even just generally curious, they kind of gravitate towards you. I like to
Mhm.
tell people that I call it cosmic knowledge. It's that like feeling of that just knowing, right? You just sort of know, like, okay, not really sure why I should pick up this book, but something is telling me that I should pick up this book. And
Yep.
you've become sort of that like source now for people that are not really sure what's going on with themselves. But then now, just like me with this podcast, with that Mr. Scary Vibes has given me an opportunity to be able to talk about these things. Now there are people that are hitting me up and saying, like, hey, I'm starting to, maybe I'm empathic, right? But
Yeah.
there is no, and they're literally just listening to our experiences, and now they're like, hey, they're starting to awaken to what's going on with themselves. And I think there's something so positive about that, But
It makes you feel like,
honestly,
okay, like there's a
keep
reason to
doing
why
what you're
I'm
doing.
doing this.
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing, man. Man, doing you, kicking ass. It's
Same
awesome.
to you.
I love it. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. But yeah, you definitely man, you have friends with us now. And man, I look forward to being able to have you on in the future again and just talking about all this stuff, especially with our experiences, man. It's been a blast having you on,
I know,
honestly.
I agree.
It's
I feel
been
the
great.
same way. I'm excited to make new friends. That's what this is all about, truthfully. Is just connecting with people that are like you, even if we're not in the same state, we still
Hmm.
you still connect, and that's like the awesome part of it all.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I want to ask all our listeners, all our listeners, watchers, go ahead and check out Nikki's pages. Also, if you're listening, watching, go ahead and subscribe. Leave us a comment. If you want to be a guest on the episode or one of our future episodes, reach out. You could either be a fan of horror or you could have paranormal stories or anything along the lines. Reach out to us, and we'd love to maybe become friends with you guys. But I think that's going to be an episode. My name is Michael, aka Mr. Scary Vibes.
And my name is Abe, aka Big Paranormal. Thank you so much, Nikki, for joining us. Again, hopefully
Thanks
you
for
can
having
come
me.
back real soon, okay? Take,
Yeah, of
take care,
course. I'm definitely
everybody.
back.
Take care, everybody. We will see you next time.
Bye.